is day and date for Wednesday, May 1, 1996. Live from New York City with Dana King and Patrick Vanhorn.
Well, get ready for the auction that will bear no resemblance to the Jackie O show of last week. Today, it's the sale of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer's deadly possessions that has some people scrambling and others screaming.
Jeffrey, I hate you, mother.
The families of the victims are horrified after Jeffrey Dahmer's murder rampage comes to a shocking end. Now, some of those families want to be paid back for their anguish, planning an auction to sell the tools Dahmer used in his killing orgy.
We're going to have an auction in New York, and we're going to be sending off the Dahmer property to the highest bidder, and the money's going to go then to the families of Dahmer's victims.
Up for bids, a hatchet, saws, the refrigerator where Jeffrey Dahmer kept body parts, and other macabre memorabilia carted out of Dahmer's foul-smelling Milwaukee apartment after his 1991 arrest.
It's not the point of wanting Jeffrey Dahmer's money, it's the point of trying to help the victims that he killed.
No way, say a group of Milwaukee business leaders who are vying to buy the killing tools and destroy them to erase any remaining memories of Dahmer's vicious murders.
So that they cannot be used in a ghoulish fashion to perpetuate a very sad, sick, tragic moment in history.
The crimes were heinous. Dahmer mutilated 17 young men and boys and cannibalized some of them. It was a 13-year killing spree that sent him to prison for life. But 2 years ago, another inmate beat Jeffrey Dahmer to death. Families and the entire city of Milwaukee left with scars.
I'm just glad the monster's gone, and that's the bottom line.
The asking price for the Dahmer collection, $1 million. The Milwaukee business leaders say they're thinking it over. As for the families, they just want whatever will give them the most money.
It is also sad but true that the Dahmer case is the black side of our society.
And the man who wants to help the families of Dahmer's victims make some money is with us now. Attorney Thomas Jacobson joins us live from Milwaukee. He represents 11 of the 17 victims' families. Mr. Jacobson, some would argue that you're just glorifying Dahmer and his grotesque crimes by auctioning off these belongings. Why not just destroy them?
We will destroy them if we get the $1 million. What this is all about is compensation for the families. From the outset, I said, come up with $1 million, and we won't go after the property of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, in essence, that sounds a little like blackmail. That sounds a little like blackmail of the merchants and the people who are trying to come up with $1 million. Either you come up with it or we're going to sell it and it's always going to be out there.
Well, what happened is I was approached by these business people a couple days ago and asked what it would take to call the auction off. We haven't blackmailed anybody. We've gone to court. We got judgments of $10 million in excess for our families. We then went ahead and had a supplemental examination face-to-face with Jeffrey Dahmer at the Columbia Correctional Institutions. We determined what assets he had available to satisfy the judgment. We went to court. We got a judge to order that this property be turned over to us for sale to get the most money we could for the families, and that's what we intend to do. The business people approached me. They asked me what it would take to buy this property. I told them $1 million. If they come up with $1 million, the property will be destroyed.
You don't represent all the families. You represent 11 of the 17.
I actually represent 8 of the families.
Will all 17 families share in this?
11 families filed claims in the estate of Jeffrey Dahmer, and those are the 11 families that will divide up whatever money is in the estate.
I have to ask you this. What's in this for you? If you can tell me, what's your fee? How will you be paid?
First of all, justice is in it for me, seeing that my families get compensated for the horrendous what happened to their loved ones, and we want to get them compensation. Others have profited off the Dahmer situation at the expense of the families. My fee, I've agreed to cut from the 1/3 I would normally get from clients for doing something like this, so that I will receive no more than any other share of any of my families.
So it would be a third of the total take?
Approximately a ninth. It'll be a ninth.
Is there a single item that you think will bring the highest bid above any of the others?
Unfortunately, I think the more grotesque and fires the symbolization of the item, that'll bring the most money. Probably the vat, the refrigerator, the hypodermic needle, the vat.
And you don't think this just perpetuates a sick fascination?
No question that it does. But the fact of the matter is this is the only alternative until somebody gives us money to compensate the victims. We have to have the auction.
Thomas Jacobson there in Milwaukee. Thanks very much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Dahmer is not the first grisly character to be put up for sale. Historically, macabre memorabilia has made some money. JFK assassin Lee Harvey Oswald's toe tag went for $8,800. The gun of Jack Ruby, Oswald's killer, was auctioned off for $220,000. And serial killer John Wayne Gacy's paintings have been sold for up to $10,000, some for the sole purpose of being destroyed in a bonfire.